What am I working on? I'm working on something that'll change the world and human life as we know it.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today we're counting down our picks for the movie remakes that, against all odds, managed to surpass their source of inspiration. We're not saying the original movies were bad, but some things are better the second time around.
Play long enough, you never change the stakes, the house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
Number 10. Dune and Dune Part 2.
Dreams make good stories, but everything important happens when we're awake. Because that's when we make things happen.
A revolutionary piece of fiction should easily inspire an equally revolutionary adaptation, right? Well, all we can say is watching Denis Villeneuve's sprawling two-part sci-fi epic just makes us wonder how it took this long for a proper visit to Arrakis to see the light of day.
Why prolong the inevitable?
We're not saying David Lynch didn't try back in the 80s, but it's clear Villeneuve's ambition and passion made all the difference in bringing the world of Dune to life. In fact, the decision to divvy up Frank Herbert's text paid dividends, giving us a fully realized landscape to get lost in. Throw in state-of-the-art CGI, a haunting Hans Zimmer score, and a top-notch ensemble cast, and the Dune duology is a blockbuster prophecy come true.
Lead them to paradise.
Number 9. Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Lock the door.
They're coming! They're coming! Help! Help! They're coming! They're coming! Listen to me!
Another frequently adapted novel, Jack Finney's The Body Snatchers has found its way to the big screen on 4 different occasions. The initial outing from 1956 is undoubtedly a classic in its own right, but the premise of aliens invading Earth via replication was even more at home in 1978.
Officer, I would like to report 4 bodies in my backyard.
You all right?
Wait right there, Mr. Bennell.
How do you know my name?
Hang up, Matthew.
I didn't tell you my name.
Upgrading the story from a small town to San Francisco, Invasion of the Body Snatchers maintains the chilling paranoia that made its predecessor great. But an added emphasis on disturbing practical effects brought the material much closer to body horror while also making the stakes far more personal. It's a taut thriller about the loss of individuality and the dangers of conformity, one that encapsulated the uncertainty of a complicated time in history. Number 8. The Departed. English language remakes of international movies can be risky. When done wrong, they can seriously diminish the value of their source.
Whoa. Let's say you have no idea and leave it at that, okay? No idea. Zip. None. If we had an idea about what we do, we would not be good at what we do, would we?
When done well, as The Departed, though, they can elevate the original to a new level of prestige. That's exactly what Martin Scorsese does with this interpretation of the Hong Kong thriller Infernal Affairs.
恢复我身份就行了，我只想做个普通人。验了。你没做过卧底，你不懂。
Switching the set to Boston, the remake maintains the premise of an undercover cop and a mob member attempting to infiltrate each other's organizations. But The Departed sets itself apart due to its impressive ensemble cast and staggering twists.
Do they know about me?
I know about you, Collie. You know I'd never give you up.
It's a dark but thoughtful exploration of complex themes like loyalty and justice, and one of Scorsese's absolute best. Number 7. True Lies.
Sir? May I see your invitation, please?
Sure. Here's my invitation.
Following the success of Aliens and Terminator 2, James Cameron went in a decidedly different direction while keeping things on the biggest scale possible. The remake of the French spy farce La Totale finds Arnold Schwarzenegger as globetrotting spy Harry Tasker, who keeps his profession a secret from his oblivious yet bored family.
Just that there's so much I wanted to do with this life, and it's like I haven't done any of it. And the sand's running out of the hourglass, and I just wanted to be able to look back and say, see, I did that. I was reckless and I was wild.
It's definitely the kind of movie that requires you to suspend your disbelief, especially once Harry wrangles his wife, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, into a fake mission that turns into a very real one. But True Lies still has plenty going for it, from its over-the-top action sequences to the screwball comedy of the two leads.
Let's go.
I married Rambo.
Notable for being the first movie made for over $100 million, the results speak for themselves. Number 6. War of the Worlds.
There's more than one.
You gotta be kidding me, right?
Steven Spielberg would go on to helm another worthy remake in 2021's West Side Story. But when it comes to definitive film adaptations, the legendary director's take on H.G. Wells' seminal sci-fi classic has a slight edge.
That sounds a little weird to me, but you decide.
Whereas the original from 1953 blends in with other movies that use the threat of invasion as a Cold War metaphor, this remake stands out due to its modernized action and unsettling parallels to the September 11th attacks. This War of the Worlds effectively presents its Martian invaders as singular, unprecedented threats that don't distinguish their victims. Although the film was criticized for its convoluted ending, it still captures a palpable sense of panic as ordinary citizens' way of life is upended in an instant.
This is not a war any more than there's a war between men and maggots. This is an extermination.
Number 5. Scarface.
You want to play rough? Okay. Say hello to my little friend.
Although it makes many of the same points as its 1932 predecessor, Scarface takes a wildly different approach to doing so.
Me, I want what's coming to me.
Oh, well, what's coming to you, Tom?
The world, Chico. And everything in it.
Trading in the streets of Prohibition-era Chicago for the beaches of Miami, this remake turns its Italian immigrant protagonist into a Cuban refugee named Tony Montana. In one of his most iconic roles, Al Pacino gives life to a violent and vulgar force who will do anything to stay on top of the criminal underworld. Equally defined by its graphic violence and memorable quotes, Scarface was not widely embraced upon initial release, with many criticizing its extravagant deviations from the original.
So say good night to the bad guy. Come on. The last time you're gonna see a bad guy like this again, let me tell you.
Luckily, opinions have softened in subsequent years, with the film's bleak portrayal of excess eventually finding a loyal following. Number 4. The Fly.
You're changing, Seth. Everything about you is changing. You look bad. You smell bad.
I've never been much of a bather.
If you think horror can't get weirder than the image of a fly's head on a man's body, prepare to bug out. Pun very much intended. Bringing body horror into the mainstream, David Cronenberg's The Fly refashions the 1958 B movie of the same name into a terrifying tragedy. Jeff Goldblum assumes the role of an eccentric scientist whose teleportation experiment is upended by a rogue insect, and the film is helped greatly by his likable charisma.
I'm becoming Brundlefly. Don't you think that's worth a Nobel Prize or two?
It's equal parts thought-provoking, disgusting, and sad as Seth Brundle slowly morphs into an unrecognizable monster, with its unflinching Oscar-winning makeup making his transformation all the more realistic. The Fly easily surpasses its campy origins to become an unforgettable experience.
Saying I'm an insect who dreamt he was a man and loved it. But now the dream is over and the insect is awake.
Number 3. Ocean's 11.
You're a thief and a liar.
I only lied about being a thief. I don't do that anymore.
Steal.
Lie.
Exactly how do you top a movie that brought together the most charismatic men in Hollywood? It's simple. Bring together the most charismatic men in Hollywood. 2001's Ocean's 11 did just that, but took things a step further by matching its star power with a more compelling caper. The basic premise is still the same, with the titular group of thieves setting their sights on a series of Las Vegas casinos.
We're just supposed to walk out of there with $150 million in cash on us without getting stopped?
Yeah.
But the movie succeeds where the Rat Pack-led original doesn't, thanks to its brisk pace and the intricate staging of the central heist. Much like George Clooney's Danny Ocean, this is a confident remake that remains one step ahead of the audience the whole way.
This town, your luck can change just that quickly.
Number 2. Heat. Of all the films on this list, Heat keeps its remake roots the most well hidden.
I preserve it because I need it. It keeps me sharp, on the edge, where I gotta be.
You wouldn't know it at first glance, but this crime opus starring Al Pacino and Robert De Niro began in earnest as an underseen TV movie entitled L.A. Takedown. Both films depict the cat-and-mouse chase between an overworked police lieutenant and a career bank robber, and the trail of devastation the two leave in their wake.
You do what you do, I do what I gotta do. And now that we've been face to face, if I'm there and I gotta put you away, I won't like it.
Heat may have the advantage of a larger budget, but it seizes every chance to craft unrivaled action sequences around two iconic leading men at their most intense. It's really not hard to see why scenes like the diner exchange and the immortal bank shootout fare so much better on the big screen.
Give me all you got! Give me all you got!
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. The Birdcage. This remake of a French comedy was a milestone for LGBTQ representation.
There's only one place in the world I call home, and it's because you're there. So take it. What difference does it make if I say you can stay or you say I can stay? It's ours.
True Grit. It's hard to top John Wayne, but the Coen brothers make it look easy.
We'll sleep here, follow in the morning.
Well, we promised to bury the poor soul inside.
Ground's too hard. Hadn't been one of the decent burial they should have got themselves killed in summer.
It and It Chapter 2. Another remake that benefits from a divided story.
Come join the clownets. You'll float down there. We'll float down there. Yes, we do.
Father of the Bride. Somehow even sweeter than the Spencer Tracy original.
This was the moment I'd been dreading for the past 6 months. Well, actually, for the past 22 years.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The Thing.
Somebody in this camp ain't what he appears to be. Right now, that may be one or two of us. By spring, it could be all of us.
So how do we know who's human? If I was an imitation, a perfect imitation, how would you know if it was really me?
Although still highly regarded, 1951's The Thing from Another World was considerably hampered by how much of its titular antagonist it could and couldn't show. In comparison, director John Carpenter's 1982 remake brings the otherworldly invader to life in all of its horrific glory.
I don't know what the hell's in there, but it's weird and pissed off, whatever it is.
Following a group of scientists trapped by an alien that can assume each of their appearances, it's at once an intriguing mystery and an all-out fright fest. We can't be sure of who to trust from one moment to the next.
Nobody trusts anybody now. We're all very tired.
And the revolutionary special effects that help bring the creature to life remain the stuff of nightmares. As we've seen, plenty of remakes have improved upon the original, but few have accomplished that job as well as this one has. Is there a remake you thought surpassed the original? Let us know in the comments.
Why don't we just wait here for a little while? See what happens.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.